WCW Monday Nitro number 232, February 28th of the year 2000. Now, we have been, the past month or so, been building up to a feud between Sid Vicious, the WCW champion, and his top challenger, Jeff Jarrett, the chosen one. So this show opens, and there's a Sid versus Tank Abbott video package.
I think this was way cheesier than giving birth to a hand. This goofy video package they put together was so corny. It's just ridiculous.
So first I was just confused. I thought, is that happening? Is that going to be on this show? So also in this video package, Kevin Nash is crazy now. Dallas Page is helping Ric Flair beat Vampiro. I have no idea why. And Jarrett is breaking guitars over a ref's head. So then Sid arrives, seething. He just gets out of his car in his blue sweatshirt and turns to the camera and seethes. And Tank arrives, and everyone's cheering for him, and yes, the main event of this show, in a world title match, Sid Vicious versus Tank Abbott.
Yep.
Fuck yes.
I'll remember you said that.
Oh, you can remember that.
I heard Vinny squeal all the way from my house.
I'm so excited. So Jeff Jarrett, who the storyline is, has been breaking guitars over random people's heads. Mike Tenay, confronts him.
Hey,
yeah.
There's more, Vinny. He broke a guitar over Tenay's head.
He did. They brought it up here.
Yeah, Tenay doesn't give a shit. Totally no-sells it. Just goes up and starts asking this guy. And the key to this interview, everybody, is Jeff Jarrett explains. Listen carefully. I don't care, he says, that Tank Abbott is getting a title shot tonight.
Yeah.
I don't care. My title shot at Uncensored is signed, sealed, and delivered. Mike Tenay, who, mind you, was hit with a guitar by Jeff Jarrett recently. Mike Tenay's question is, if Tank wins, do you think you can beat him? Could you ask a dumber question? The fuck do you expect Jeff Jarrett to say? Jeff says, yes, I can beat him.
He guaranteed it.
Guaranteed it, yes. Maybe Tenay's writing all the questions for the interview people on WWE nowadays.
So this show got off to a horrible in-ring start.
I'll say.
It's the Mama Lukes versus Lane and Idol.
Can I just say something here?
Please.
You know, I've been doing interviews with people for many, many years. And rarely, I'm sure you can find some instances, but rarely when I'm interviewing somebody, is there a very awkward moment. You want to know why?
Buff Bagwell.
That's totally different. Okay? Because why bother asking a stupid question? Why bother asking a question that you know you're not going to get an answer to? Do you know what I'm saying? Who writes these fucking questions for people on Raw and now on Nitro? Why would you ever go into the UFC and say, you know you're fighting Conor McGregor next week on pay-per-view.
Pack your bags, Vinny, and run.
Do you think you can beat him? Who the fuck would ever ask that stupid fucking question to the challenger for somebody in a fight? And that question is asked all the time on Raw and now on Nitro. And you know what the person always answers? They say, what a stupid question. Because it is a goddamn stupid question.
So backstage, Lane and Idol, they got their blue jeans and the sunglasses.
Shiny shirts.
Shiny, very shiny shirts. So they dumped Miss Hancock a few weeks ago. She comes back wanting to be the manager again. They blow her off and say, you're getting in the way of our rat chasing.
By the way, these are the two characters 3 months ago. They were gay.
Yes.
What's your point, Vinny?
So they try to leave, but forget being out of earshot, they're still in front of her. And she just looks up and says, I think it's time for me to teach these boys a lesson.
What surprises you about this?
I don't know, man. I just forgot.
Do you remember when she debuted 3 months ago and was the worst actor of all time?
Well, she's gotten no better.
Okay.
She's not improved.
It takes time.
Now, the first 10 seconds of this here wrestling match, seriously, among the worst 10 seconds of wrestling I've ever seen. They try to do some double team spot with guys running off the ropes, and they're at a sink. All four guys are fucking up at once in totally different ways. It's mind-numbing. I was blown away. So Disco's out there doing commentary. He's managing the Mama Lukes. Madden, who is the heel announcer, is still burying Disco. Miss Hancock comes out. Disco goes to interfere. Miss Hancock dances on the table in her itty-bitty skirt. Lane and Johnny the Bull conveniently have dollar bills in their pants to give her. So eventually everyone's distracted. All the wrestlers and the ref and Disco. And
Except Vito.
And the announcers. Vito is the only one who kept his head in the game.
Because he got to win.
That's true.
He hit Idol with a DDT and pinned him. This was a World Tag Team Championship match.
And he's Idol now. He's not Lodi.
No. Yes. Yeah.
What?
I don't know. So Vito asks Miss Hancock to dance for them. She comes in and dances with the Mama Lukes.
So not only did he get to win the match,
he got to dance with the girl.
He got to dance with the girl.
And I'm not going to say he danced better than Miss Hancock, but for totally different reasons, it may have been more entertaining.
Well, he danced better than China.
That's true.
Sure.
That's true. Now, this is still one segment. The Harrises run out and kill everybody.
Yeah.
They kill everyone. They cut a promo. They get cut off by their own music, and they leave.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Craig. Backstage on Billy Kidman's stolen camera.
God. Yeah, I got it. Okay, listen. I got to talk about this, okay? Because I talked about it last week. Last week, Buff hit on
Symphony.
Right.
Ryan Shamrock, and she shot him down and humiliated him. Okay? He's the babyface.
And then he said, please don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Actually, he bullied her. You better not tell anybody.
This week, he tries to hit on Liz. Liz says, Buff, package. Buff, package. Buff, package. No, thank you. She walks off. He's appalled. He's been shot down a second time.
He's the babyface.
Okay?
Are we sure?
He's the babyface, all right? Now, later, actually, right after this,
Yes.
they go to Ric Flair, Luger, and Liz are watching on tape. Flair goes, Bagwell must be out of his mind. We need to go take care of business. And so, these three men decide that they've got to go take care of this fella that hit on Luger's woman. They're the heels, okay?
Okay.
All right. My point of all of this is, because I need to be a fair man, all right? When something stupid is booked and you get the wrong reaction from what you think you're going to get, you're dumb, okay? When they did the Becky Lynch deal where she won and she won and she won and she won and she fairly earned a title shot, and then Charlotte waltzed her way in before SummerSlam, got her way into the match, and then won by pinning her friend from behind, Becky. And then Becky turned and beat the shit out of her. And they were surprised that Becky was cheered. They're dumb. Okay? With that said, for the second week in a row, when Bagwell comes out for this fucking match, he's a huge babyface. So it doesn't matter what we thought about this, okay? It doesn't matter who we thought should be the babyface or the heel. Whatever they're fucking doing, for some reason, maybe it's because it's the 90s, it's working. And Bagwell's a babyface.
Maybe these super hot girls shoot him down so the ugly ones go, hey, I might have a shot.
I have no explanation. So, we have predictions for tonight's epic main event. Bam Bam Bigelow, to make a long story short, he predicts Sid will beat Tank because he has more experience in the pro wrestling ring.
Sure.
Ricky Rockman and the Nitro parties are back.
Ricky's back. The show's turning around.
Hey, the good news is that means spring break is coming.
Spring break is coming.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
Everything about this segment
And I
was
can
lame.
fast forward through everything he was involved in.
Somebody's going into a pool.
So this Hogan promo.
Oh, incredible.
First of all, he's backstage in like a pre-tape. Probably not even at the
Not
building.
backstage. He looks like he's in a sewer.
It wasn't like a giant pipe. That's actually true.
He's in a giant, enormous pipe.
Hanging out with Michelangelo and Donatello.
I was going to make that joke. Nicely done, Vinny.
His arm is in a cast.
Yes.
Still.
He's incredibly leathery,
Yeah.
which is ironic.
It's true.
He actually looks 19 years older than he does today, and it was 19 years ago. I don't know how that's even possible.
He was more leathery than the belt.
He looked like a pterodactyl back there, cutting this promo.
So,
And what a promo it was.
he talks about taking the slow, this is his words,
Yeah.
the slow rolling coffin to the emergency room. What?
Well, he was afraid that Jimmy Hart, and I quote, it's not a direct quote, this is what he inferred. He was afraid Jimmy Hart might die
I guess.
as a result of the beating that Luger gave him.
So,
He broke his hand, nearly stopped his heart, apparently.
a weakened, withered, clinging to life Jimmy Hart was able to whisper one word. Yapapai.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yapapai, says Hulk.
did he do this with Vader too, or was this the debut of the Yapapai strap match?
I seem to recall he did it another time. I don't know if he fucked it up both times, but it's the Yavapai Indians. And he decided it was Yapapai.
Yeah.
He screwed it up.
So he's shouting and screaming, "You will understand what the Yapapai mean by the Indian strap match."
The Yapapai Indian strap match.
So this Yapapai tribe,
Yavapai, Craig.
okay, Yavapai, are they?
Of course not.
Is this what they do for sports?
Do they have strap matches?
Are
Okay,
they?
listen.
Are they good disciplinarians?
Kevin Sullivan wrote this. That's all you need to know. I'm surprised it wasn't a Chinese strap match from 2,000 years ago.
Didn't have it on a scroll.
Yeah.
So all I could think watching this, besides the absurdity of the Yapapai, was this is now the year 2000,
Yeah.
the 21st century. And he's doing the exact same Hulk Hogan thing from
Yes.
1983.
Yes.
Yes.
And not the Hulk Hogan that was in WWF after this, where the nostalgia was part of it.
Vinny, let me explain this to you. It's exactly what Sullivan said about the Dungeon of Doom. He wanted to make Hulk Hogan happy, and so he created the Dungeon of Doom, a bunch of giant cartoons that Hulk Hogan could beat up. So Sullivan's back. So he's going to make Hulk Hogan happy by giving him an 80s promo about a Yapapai strap match with his favorite opponent that he gets to win. What's the problem?
That is true. So Gene interviews Flair. Flair has Hogan's weightlifting belt. He declares Hulkamania is dead. He's ranting and being
Yeah, how'd he
crazy.
get his weight belt? Hogan had it.
No, he got a different strap.
They beat him.
Oh.
There could be more than
Fuck.
one. Yeah. But they're probably all at the wall at Pastamania or whatever. So,
Went out of business in 95.
what's this? The one in Florida called?
This
Oh,
is
shop.
his surf
Current?
shop.
Yeah.
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 Pasta Mania. Jesus.
So Lex has a chair with Sting's logo like taped onto it.
There hasn't been a Pasta Mania since you graduated high school, Vinny.
Look, this is an old show. It's about Hulk
Not
Hogan.
that old.
It's not that much different. It was like 5 years after that.
It's an eternity.
Listen, Lex has a chair with Sting's logo on it, and that's weird.
Okay.
So they're running down Minnesota. Flair is sure to clarify he was born here, but he left as soon as he could.
I used to be from here, he says.
Yes, yes. So this offends a local legend. And out to defend the honor of Gopher Country comes Kurt Hennig. And Kurt Hennig and Ric Flair going back and forth are awesome.
It was almost as good as Flair and Terry Funk.
It was,
Except,
actually.
believe it or not, and this is hard to believe, but it's true. Kurt Hennig was crazier than Terry Funk
He actually was.
because he vowed. I hope you can do the finishers report later, Vinny. He vowed that if he could not beat Ric Flair tonight, he would strip buck-ass naked and streak down the streets of Minneapolis next Monday night.
That's what he said.
That's not that too out of character. I mean, Prince is from there. Go ahead.
Kurt Hennig is not Prince.
What are you talking about?
Well, he wore those,
This
chaps.
is very out of character for Kurt Hennig to run naked down the street.
There's lots of people from Minnesota who are not Prince.
No.
Almost all of them.
I don't believe it.
It's really just the one guy.
I was going to say almost all of them. Who's the other one? Prince Iakea?
No.
He's not from Minneapolis.
Mike Tenay interviews Booker. So they did a tag match on Thunder with Booker and Kidman. And Tori got knocked off the apron. And Kidman was tending to her, which left Booker high and dry, and he got beat. So Booker's upset that Kidman left him hanging because he was messing with his hoochie. Mm-hmm. So they're going to fight tonight. Kidman and Tori are walking, bitching about how their camera got stolen again.
It's been a week, dude. Get a new camera.
I guess.
What, he found it last week and got stolen again?
That's what
Is
they
that
said.
the story?
Yes. They said, I can't believe it got stolen again.
What a stupid storyline. Why not just the thief still has it?
I like that it got stolen and they just left it randomly out again, thinking nothing would happen.
Tony Schiavone is on the phone at the announce desk. He says his inside sources have told him Sting is going to be there. Okerlund's interviewing Jeff Jarrett.
Okay. May I?
Yes.
Because I recapped it earlier.
Sure.
So earlier, I'll even go back and recap, like we're doing a recap on this show. He doesn't care that Tank Abbott is getting a championship match. He has a title shot at Uncensored, is signed, sealed, and delivered. So, an hour later, Gene Okerlund goes back to Jeff Jarrett. Now he's outraged that Tank Abbott is getting a championship match. Outraged! And he's outraged that tonight he must be facing Vampiro with the U.S. title on the line. And then, after all that outrage, he says, I don't care. I will beat Vampiro tonight and win the title at the pay-per-view. This is a bad professional wrestling television show.
It is. I do want to add, though, Jarrett is accompanied by a bunch of good-looking women.
Sure.
And Gene, at the start of this promo, addresses them and says, ladies, it's good to see you back in your feet.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was.
Booker versus Kidman. So Booker has lost the goofy Leave It to Beaver music. He has...
Maybe.
Well, no, they were talking about it.
Okay.
They traded it in, yeah.
All right.
So I don't know what music you used then. They have some generic network song now. Heavy metal, Mark Madden called it. So there were lots of angle slams on the show, which amused me. Booker did one here. I think Iakea did one later. So Tori gets in the apron. Then the Harrises attack both guys to the DQ. Then Tori gets knocked off the apron, sells her ankle. This sucked.
Why, when these women know they're going to take a bump off the apron, they wear the highest heels possible so they can turn an ankle?
She fake hurt her ankle, dude.
I understand that, Brian.
Okay, well then that's why she wore the high heels. She had to fake roll her ankle.
But she could have really rolled her ankle in
But
the
she
high
didn't.
heels.
She's talented.
Is that so?
I don't know. They could figure it out.
So Harlem Heat laugh at Booker.
Oh. Gene is with the new Harlem Heat, okay?
What was that?
They're laughing, and Stevie explains, this is what happens when you don't have anybody watching your back. So now what happens next is a tag team comment.
Yes.
Stevie is supposed to start, and Big T is supposed to end, okay?
Right.
This is not hard, all right? Stevie says, it's just like our mama said. A hard head. Dead silence. For seemingly like a minute. I'm like, did he forget what his mama said? And then, finally, Big T just screams, makes for a soft ass. I went, what? What did your mama say?
I've never heard my mama say that.
A hard head makes a soft ass.
Makes for a soft ass.
Did you say 4?
I believe so.
It's Big T, so you have to be sure.
Well, he may. I'm not sure what he said. That's what I got out of it.
That's pretty much what he said.
And then if I was not confused enough, Jay Biggs made some joke about graffiti and they all laughed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
I laughed a lot.
Lash LaRue predicted that Sid would win in the main event. And Lash on this show and Jim Ross on Raw on the same night both made that dog'll hunt references. The clips from the Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding show.
This guy.
Some guy with what they claimed were 28-inch biceps.
They were.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were fake.
No.
Is this the injection stuff?
The best part of this is there's this guy with these enormous fake arms.
Popeye never had arms this
I mean,
big.
ridiculous, okay? He's showing them off to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Arnold is looking at this guy and, like, he's trying to be nice.
Yes.
But you just know what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
This guy's proportions are preposterous.
He has skinny legs, flat ass, no chest, Popeye arms. Yes, and Arnold's just trying to stifle a laugh the whole time.
And they cut back to the announcers, and Mark Madden says, and I quote, "That can't be for real." No shit. I'm not sure that he knew it wasn't for real. Otherwise, why would you say that? It's ridiculous.
Gene interviews Norman Smiley. Norman says what Dustin Rhodes did to Terry Funk was a crime. Tonight, Norman won't be screaming. It'll be screaming Dustin Rhodes.
This was a good promo.
Sure.
Made me sad what they did with it later.
Brian Knobbs versus 3 Count.
Ugh.
3 Count challenges Knobbs to a handicap match for the hardcore title. He accepts.
3-on-1.
At this point, 40 minutes into the show, they put up a Night of Championships graphic.
Yeah.
Why did you wait till the show was a third over to do that? So he beats them up for a while with weapons.
They all hit each other in the head with shit.
Yeah.
Chairs, garbage can lids. Just fucking sucks. They pin Knobbs.
Yeah.
And all I could think was, these poor bastards.
Now they had to feud with him.
Now they have to go out and get hit in the head with shit every single week till he loses his title. This was terrible.
Vampiro is hanging out in some green light somewhere. He's brooding. Maybe it's time to let somebody else taste the pain, he says. He's talking about Jared not being ready, and they cut away mid-sentence to show Dustin Rhodes walking. Had a bunch of dudes outside chanting for Sid. I think Scott D'Amore was in there. Gene is preparing to interview Brian Knobbs and Fit Finlay. And he says... He makes a statement. It's not even a question. But something in the bag. Can't believe what I've just seen. And Knobbs interrupts him to say, and I quote, "Ah, ba-da-ba!" And Gene looks at him. And then just powers through. So Knobbs blames himself for this loss, for accepting the stupid challenge, let his ego get in the way. He wants a rematch. I've just totally lost place of where we are in the show.
He wants a rematch. Finlay says, we'll cross that bridge later.
Yeah.
We're going to do a 6-man Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gene says there's only 2 of you and 3 of them. Fitz says, no, there are 3 of us.
It's time to bring out the dog.
Knobbs says we're bringing out the dog. The dog.
Norman Smiley versus Dustin Rhodes. So Dustin, of course, the son of Dusty Rhodes, who we watched the 1980s shows where he was the Midnight Rider. Dustin comes out here to a music that's like an evil version of the Midnight Rider song. It was really cool. Norman is out there for a pro wrestling match in big, giant football shoulder pads. At no point in the show does Dustin say anything, or the referee, or the announcers.
That's his gimmick. He's been wearing the shoulder pads for months.
But like in hardcore matches. This is just a wrestling match. They do him no good. Dustin beats him up forever, hits a top rope lariat, and wins.
Sad.
And this is the kind of show that when a guy who has a pay-per-view match, is Dustin Rhodes and Funk at the pay-per-view. When a guy who has a pay-per-view match coming up hits a move and pins a guy who is not on the pay-per-view, it's bizarre. It's just bizarre.
What was Mark Madden calling him? I forgot to write it down. It was something 2000.
American Dream 2000.
Why is that bizarre, by the way? Someone on the pay-per-view pinned someone not
because
on
it's
pay-per-view?
WCW in 2000.
Oh, because they did something right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Jeff Jarrett goes for a walk. Vampiro is skulking backstage. Nick Patrick predicts Tank Abbott will win.
I hope he's not the fucking ref. What are they asking the referees for? What a stupid company. Now let me talk about this next match, because it wasn't bad, but Nick Patrick is the worst referee I've ever seen in my lifetime, okay? We need a Hall of Awful. The Nick Patrick Memorial Hall of Awful.
We actually do.
Put Nick Patrick in. So Jarrett comes out, he sends all the women to the back, because of course he's a heel, he wants to win on his own.
We could name that one after Ed.
Or he just didn't want them around because Vamp is out there. So Nick Patrick is the ref, and this match is just a fucking mess. So Vampiro hits a Uranage. Nick Patrick counts 1, 2. Jeff kicks out. He counts 3.
Yeah.
So the Harrises then hit the ring right in front of Nick Patrick. He's looking right at him. Yeah. Not a disqualification.
Mm-hmm. No.
Sid runs down, and he runs wild on the Harrises.
My God, did he run
wild. Awesome worthy this was.
This is amazing.
You've never seen a clubbering forearm. Like the running, lunging clubbering forearms. Remember when Kane did this to Shane?
Yes.
He did it one time. Okay? Sid did this 10 times here. I don't know how I haven't remembered this. Jeff hits Vamp with the belt. Referee counts. Nick Patrick. 1, 2, stops. Timekeeper rings the bell. What is happening?
I don't know.
Then Jeff hits a stroke and wins. They can't do anything right.
Yeah, I don't know why this needs 17 different run-ins and finishes, and I don't know. I do like the line where they said, Jared is now being fined $10,000 every time he breaks a guitar over somebody's head. And man says, well, he obviously makes a great living, a lot of money.
It was funny, too, because how over Vampiro was. The crowd was, like, totally behind him.
Well,
they haven't been doing anything to push the guy.
Hasn't been a new top guy in WCW since Goldberg.
True.
Who's at this point his rise was 2 years ago.
Oh, it's somebody new. Yay.
Yeah, anyone. Mama Luke's pay somebody $20 to make a delivery to the Harris brothers. Fans are outside chanting for Tank. All right, so we go back to this Nitro party. Now, 3 Count's gimmick is that they're dorks. And they think they're cool when they dance, but no one else thinks they're cool. Apparently no one who produced this Nitro party got that word, because now 3 Count's like actually cool. And we are told when they dance, the chicks go with them.
Oh, to be fair, it's Ricky Rackman telling this. This could be total bullshit.
That's true.
So Disco questions who Ricky is and why he's there.
It's fair.
Excellent question, Disco.
I want Disco.
I don't know either.
So Disco goes to teach 3 Count how to dance.
Where was this show from? I wrote it down.
Minnesota.
And these were allegedly in Ohio?
The party's at Ohio State. And Disco,
They're going around the country on the way to spring break, Craig.
They just wrestled.
Pay attention to Rackman.
They just wrestled.
Pre-taped.
Yes. But they didn't tell. Obviously, it's a pre-tape, Brian. But they implied it was live, even though
Yes.
Disco was on the show.
Well, they lied.
3 Count was on the show.
Pay attention, Brian.
Professional wrestling.
Fit Finley beats up Vampiro for no reason I can tell. In the greatest moment of David Flair's career,
Yes.
even better than the last time he danced with the Nitro Girls, David Flair comes out to dance with the Nitro Girls. It's brilliant. I take back everything and anything negative I ever said about David Flair.
Wow.
It's awesome. So, problem with this is David Flair already has a girl. It's Daphne. So the Nitro Girls leave. David Flair's alone in the ring. He turns around, and there's Daphne, and she's pissed off. And as Madden says, Daphne has David Flair's crowbar. Figuratively and literally. I laughed.
You know, David was cutting a rug, and then he jumped high in the air and took a flat back bump.
I started humping the air.
It's Rick's kid.
Yes. Yeah, it turns out he is after all. So he is in fact Rick's kid, because after blatantly hitting on like a dozen other women in front of his girlfriend, he sweet-talked his way back into her heart.
That a kid.
This leads to the artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea versus David Flair.
You know, they mentioned Crowbars on commentary.
He sure is.
They reminded us that he was found pumping gas at a service station in a vignette I had totally forgotten about that apparently aired on Thunder. This man...
He's on the show?
This man... No, it wasn't on the show for sure.
Okay.
He was pumping
yes,
gas,
yeah.
and Daphne and David discovered him, and now he is a professional wrestler.
That's how easy it is, kids.
Weird.
So, Crowbar on commentary is awesome.
He's been like this since day one. You just noticed.
No, I didn't
No.
just notice, but I did. Like, you know, he's insightful. He knows his shit. He has great delivery. He works well with the other guys. He's setting them up with things to say and questions to answer. He's phenomenal. And at one point here, Tony says, "You know, he's pretty good." And Mark says, "Yeah, I'm scared for my job." Why is Crowbar not calling matches on Raw in 2019?
Have you watched Raw in 2019?
No, because it's not
Okay,
Crowbar.
after 3 weeks, he'd be horrible.
That's probably true. So, Daphne does a screaming gimmick, by which I mean she screams the entire match. It got old immediately. It was annoying when Melina screamed with Eminem, but at least she'd do it like twice, maybe. Daphne's just screaming her head off the whole time.
Oh, God, I remember that.
So,
Bane of my existence.
Crowbar, Prince Iaukea goes off the top rope. Crowbar manages to grab his head as he jumps. This is not the finish. The women are having a horrible fight, and then Prince wins the diving DDT. Again, 17 things have to be going on all the time.
I did love the fight. Daphne's got a fight with Paisley.
Yes.
So she mounts her and chokes her by the neck. It's brutal.
I believe Daphne would be crazy enough to do that. Cut backstage where there's these shards of a broken guitar and Sid has been laid out.
Announcers put 2 and 2 together. There's broken guitar everywhere. I think it might be Jeff Jarrett.
I was terrified here they're going to take away my main event from me. Don't you dare take away my Sid versus Tank main event. The Harrises get their delivery.
What the crap is this? Says one of the Harris twins. Those exact words. What the crap is this?
Well, it was a fish.
Not hell.
Crap.
What the crap?
What the crap is this? It
Horrible.
was a dead fish. They are angry for like a second, and then Jarrett says, "Don't worry about it. You'll get your match with them in uncensored." And the Harrises say, "This is a quote. Good point." And they all leave. Way to go, Mamalukes.
So Gene shows up with an update. It says the doctors don't want Sid doing any strenuous activity.
Strenuous physical activity.
And he notes, a world championship title defense against Tank Abbott might be construed as strenuous activity.
Maybe.
Sid shows up. He says, when I quote, "It's simple math. First, it's Jeff Jarrett. Then, it's Tank Abbott."
Close.
I thought I was bad at math. That ain't math. That's counting.
No.
To 2. Tank
I like
Abbott,
what he said.
I'll see you in hell.
I like when he says, "What you make of this is this, Gene." He's woozy. He's selling a concussion, but he promises to see Jarrett at uncensored. He'll see Tank Abbott in hell.
He was concussed. He's just a brilliant actor, Brian.
Get out of here. Shat in the ring.
Excuse me?
Clips of him dancing with James Brown. Maestro interferes. Maestro is forced to listen to bad music on a boombox. I don't even remember the stipulation from a week ago. That's how stupid this is. The fucking music plays. He gets mad. He hits Shat with the boombox and then wins. This show I wrote is wretched.
This show.
Am I missing anything about this shit?
No, you got it. I
Fucking A.
didn't know when this boombox thing started. Part of me. There's basically 2 theories. One is that the cat won a bet, and thus the Maestro has to have this music playing.
Dude, there was something that happened on last week's show. We reviewed it.
Well, all that was the cat said, "I have new music for you," and he played terrible music, and the Maestro freaked out.
The bet was that the Shat couldn't get James Brown.
Yes, and so he did. So now Shat gets to choose bad music for the Maestro, which apparently must be played on a boombox.
Yeah, but they never said
Throughout
anything
the
about that
match.
before. This part's new.
Well, yeah, the show's bad.
Okay. Kurt Hennig's walking backstage. Ric Flair's walking backstage. Lex Luger's preparing for his match, but he and Liz, they can't find the baseball bat. Billy Kidman says, "There's one thing I've learned in a fight. It's that you can never underestimate the small man."
Small Tank Abbott.
So I'm picking Tank Abbott. I understand he's probably smaller than Sid.
Yeah,
This is still
probably.
poor reasoning. Ric Flair versus Kurt Hennig. Could you have done anything to make Hennig versus Flair with the pride of Minnesota at stake be any worse?
Well, kind of. I mean, it was the best thing on the show until the finish. They had a very, very fun Ric Flair-Kurt Hennig match. And then that asshole Nick Patrick took a bump. And Luger hit the ring, stomped on Hennig. Then he left. And Hennig just grabs a chair after that beating. Patrick won't allow him to use the chair. Patrick allows anything. So Flair kicks him in the balls in front of Patrick. Patrick counts the pin. Patrick, everyone, is not a heel referee. He's supposed to be an unbiased referee. He's awful. And then Flair whips Hennig, and he is crazier than ever.
So I assume next week will be a vignette where Kurt Hennig goes streaking butt naked down the street.
I'm waiting for it.
Ming! The Monster Ming!
Who can speak English, by the way.
That's a new one.
Prediction for the main event. He talks a little bit about both guys, and here is his prediction. "I like to see this match. I like to sit back and watch them kick the hell out of each other."
Yep. No prediction.
That's his prediction.
Yeah.
His prediction is he will enjoy it.
Same as yours.
Pretty much. At this point, my notes simply read, "More clips from this shit party."
It's fair.
Lex Luger versus Buff Bagwell.
As noted, Buff is super over as a babyface. Luger's hated.
The women still love him.
Yep.
I like that it's Lex Luger, the total package. But one very clever fan made a sign that says sign that reads, "Lex, no package, loser."
I like it.
So Buff hits the
This was not as good as Flair Hennig.
No.
yeah. Buff hits the Vader bomb, makes a cover, but Liz put Lex's foot on the ropes. This leads to Flair attacking Buff. Flair and a weight belt in the ring. Liz is about to slide a chair in the ring. None of this is a DQ. But then Flair chop blocks Buff, and this is a DQ. So, Sting comes down. Now, Sting wants to surprise Lex. They couldn't just have Buff get beaten in the corner on the side opposite the entranceway, so Luger would have his back to Sting. No, Sting has to come down to the ringside. He walks down the aisle, and then when he gets to ringside, he has to hide, like Waldo. He has to dip down below the ring apron and hide.
Waldo? I know where's Waldo, but that's what you got out of this? You looked at him and thought, it's Waldo?
He's hiding. Clearly, he thought he was hard to see. So, eventually, Lex turns his back. Sting gets up on the apron, and Sting hid. Why did Sting hide? Sting hid so he could pull out the bat that I guess Lex was looking for earlier, and reach...
That would be the bat.
And reach inside and go to Lex and go, bunk! And Lex sells this by going, what the... And he turns around at Sting, and now he's scared.
Yeah, there's a guy with a bat that just bonked him in the head. Some idiot's ringing the bell incessantly this entire time, I might add. It must have been Daphne.
So eventually he beats Lex up with a bat, and Lex leaves, and sucked. It sucked.
Oh, Sid.
Sid is my hero, Sid. Sid is storming backstage. He ranting to nobody but himself. Screaming at the top of his lungs. This is my best translation.
Oh, I wrote it down.
Okay.
He screamed, "Come hell or high water, I will get you, Tank Abbott." And he starts screaming something else, and they just cut away.
He gets as far as
the world champion.
And next to follow will be Jeff. And they cut away to show Tank Abbott walking.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get the hell or high water. I just got now high water.
I rewound it a couple times.
Okay.
I had to hear it.
I will get you, Tank Abbott, and next to follow will be Jeff.
Come hell or high water. Because he's hurt, you know. But come hell or high water, he's going to get Tank Abbott.
The last bit from this lame Nitro party. And then...
God, Vinny. You're such a geek.
Tank Abbott versus Sid Vicious for the World Heavyweight Championship on the main event of Nitro. The undefeated Tank Abbott and the reigning champion Sid. Mark Madden took the words right out of my mouth. I cannot believe this match is taking place. Tank gets a motorcycle for his entrance. He never has before, but this is a special night. He's challenging for the world title. Sid comes out, all the pyro's going off. He's doing knuckle bumps with the fans. Everyone's going crazy. So they get in the ring, and Tank jumps him at the bell. Tank Abbott tries to win with a guillotine. He's got him in this damn guillotine. Sid's down on the ropes, clutching the ropes, which is why it's not a finish. But for like a minute, it's just this guillotine.
Well, the first thing Tank did was go to work on the bad ribs.
Bad ribs.
And then when Sid doubled over, he grabbed his head. Psychology.
Yes. So Tank hits a body shot that sends Sid flying over the top rope out of the ring. Gets back in there. Tank's carrying Sid around. Hits a freak accident. He's standing on Sid's back and pulling up on his hair. Here, I believe they said, Tank won a lot of Ultimate Fight matches with that choke. Now, I'm no UFC expert. Did Tank Abbott ever attempt a chokehold in a UFC fight?
I believe so.
All right. So, eventually, who said it was the experience? Was it Lash? No, it was Bam Bam. The experience would do Tank in. Bam Bam's a wise man. Tank is totally in control. Sid came into this match less than 100%. Tank jumped him at the bell, didn't give him a chance to get going, cut off his oxygen, took away his air. He's got this man weak. He's got him down. He's got him finished. But then he makes a mistake and he gets arrogant. And he turns his back. He turns his back to celebrate with the crowd and taunt them. And this gives the mighty champion Sid a chance to recover. Sid jumps to his feet. Sid locks on a sleeper. Sid's eyes are bugging out of his head to the back door of the building. He gets him in the sleeper, and they stumble to the ground, and Sid locks on a crossface. A hold that is not used in UFC, so Tank would not know a counter. And Tank fights and fights, and Tank does not just tap out. Tank hammer fists out, and Sid wins. This was awesome. This is a tremendous Pro Wrestling World Championship match. I loved it. I loved every second of this.
I've never heard
I'll tell
you
the
more
rest of you what
passionate.
really happened here. Tank beat him up for a long time.
Sure.
Sid put him in a sleeper into a crossface,
Yeah.
which he lost his grip on at one point.
Yes.
Tank screamed never and then tapped.
Yeah.
And that's the end of Tank Abbott, Vinny. I hope you're happy.
No, I want Tank every week.
Are you kidding me? Just tapped down the middle of the ring to Sid, for crying out loud. His career's over now. He's going to be dancing with 3 count next week.
I see.
He fucked it all
Okay
up with
with
this
that,
guy.
actually.
Match was bizarre. And then, you didn't even notice this, Tank just leaps to his feet and storms off.
Well, just what? How many UFC fights you see where a guy taps out and gets up?
So here's some of Tank Abbott's big wins in UFC, Vinny. He did win via KO and TKO twice. His next win over Steve Jenham was a neck crank.
Ah.
His next win after that was a forearm choke,
Wow.
which may have been what he did to Sid. And then he has various wins and losses, including this one here to Maurice Smith. Submission, in parentheses, exhaustion.
That sounds like Tank.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the main event of this show.
You can tell.
I need to go back and watch this fight he had with Hidehiko Yoshida. Pride Final Conflict 2005. The finish is listed here as submission, single wing choke.
What was that?
Tank has a wing? What the hell is a single wing choke? That's weird.
A one-wing angel?
Anyway,
Which would be a hell of a finish to a Tank Abbott fight.
Brian,
so yes,
you finish your statement. I was going to remind you about Vinny's music.
I'm going to play Vinny's music.
I understand that now.
I know what I'm doing here.
Sometimes.
Give me a damn break. Vinny, you ready?
Hang on. Okay, now. The finishes on this show were pin after all 4 wrestlers and the ref and the manager and the announcers were distracted. Double DQ when the Harrises kill everyone. 3 men pinning 1 in a hardcore match. Clean pin. Pin after interference and weapon shots were not the finish, but the stroke was. Pin despite interference and tons of distraction. Pin after boombox shot. Pin after interference and a low blow. DQ due to interference. And then clean submission by the world champion over an undefeated challenger.
How long was that show? Jesus.
Pretty goddamn long.
How many matches were there?
And I 2 clean finishes.
35 full seconds to go over all those matches. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it much better than Raw.
I did too.
Yeah. But man, what a bunch of bad shows this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully it turns around next week, at least on one half of the bracket. All right, are you going to read your thing?
He's talking to you,
Oh,
Professional.
Rob.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear my name. Sorry. All right. The daily updates for the you can check out the daily update on the Figure 4 website for the Mania lunch business on WrestleMania weekend. There are only 15 seats left, so get your seats while you can.
Sure.
Thanks, Greg.
2 hours ago, he told me that he had something he was going to read on the show.
Fuck off. I'm still on vacation. Bye-bye.
We'll be back on vacation pretty soon here, buddy.
See, it's also very soon he's going to have a list of all of the Vegas convention events, including Ed's Wrestling Show, the Brazilian Steakhouse Dinner, and the all-you-can-eat barbecue / wrestling show / wrestling viewing party.
So he has a wrestling show and a wrestling show?
Wrestling show and a wrestling viewing party.
Interesting.
He listed a wrestling show twice.
Maybe. You know, Rob and I had a play date this weekend.
We did.
Can you move that phone?
We
How was it?
we went and watched Nick wrestle for
Without a cause.
Without a Cause.
Yes, Without a Cause.
Thank you. I blanked for a second.
I could tell.
It's a good time. Nick is going to be a superstar.
I'm well aware.
Yeah.
Did he win?
He did.
Oh,
He Cash did the honors because he's Cash leaving.
he beat Cash?
There was a tag team match.
God damn.
Cash
Still
is
pin
leaving,
Cash.
Cash lost to Filthy and Nick Wayne in the same week.
Cash is leaving for 0-1 on Thursday.
Wow.
Been sent packing.
Yeah. What a demotion.
Yeah,
No doubt.
can't even believe it.
Yeah, good time. Good show. Shane Strickland beat
Dave.
An incredible recap here between between you
apologize.
two here.
He's a local
You
guy.
ever heard the term off the rails? He's a local guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Turner. Dave Turner. Thank you.
You're right over there, Vinny?
Look, I have no notes.
No.
I'm doing this off the top of my head.
You
I
don't.
apologize.
That's odd.
Yeah, I know.
I could have sworn. It sounded like a prepared statement.
Well, Rob, you'll be happy to know that since you're back from vacation, I got a gift for you. It's right there on top of that preamp. Take it home, show it to your wife and kids. And hey, everybody, we're out of time. We'll talk to you after a while.
Good night.
Bye.
Wayne
Rob,
on
look at the back cover.
That's a self-portrait.
Is that Wayne?
Of whom? Brian's Uncle Wayne.
I don't want to see that.
No, I didn't.
Give it to Craig. You know Wayne.
I know Wayne.
You're going to know him a lot better in a minute.
I don't want to see Wayne.
You don't want to see Wayne's Wang?
No. All right, kids.
Oh, good night.
See you, Craig.
Later.